Hey y'all, James here before the show starts to tell you about 2023's MLM Pod Patreon Pledge Drive, taking place live at twitch.tv/Mostly Speakin' Sentai on April 15th, starting at 9 a.m. What is it, you wonder? Well, in an attempt to get you to subscribe to patreon.com/MLM Pod, where you can listen to our premium content like This Existed, Engaged with Nicolas Cage, Mostly Speakin' Sentai After Dark, and so much more, I'll be streaming live until we get to 40 patrons or I pass out. Starting now, for every 10 new patrons we get, I'll be doing the extremely spicy Pocky One Chip Challenge. That goes for $1 patrons, $5 patrons, and $10 patrons, so go subscribe now. The live stream will include video games, watch-alongs of Los Luchadores and Stick It in Detroit, a live recording of Formulaic with R2 Shelby 2, me working out, showing as much skin as Twitch's terms of service will allow, call-ins, music making, and more. So again, that's Saturday, April 15th, starting at 9 a.m. twitch.tv/Mostly Speakin' Sentai. Go subscribe now to patreon.com/MLM Pod to make sure the party starts off hectic with me eating a lot of spicy chips. Now, enjoy some good Marshland Media podcasting. Toodaloos! On today's episode of Bibleman, we learned Get Bible Vision.
Or get wrecked.
My name is James.
I'm Nicole.
And this is Mostly Babblin' Bibleman. Yes, guys, I have eaten, suckled upon the fruit of the Lord. And now your guys are about to get into the fruit of my looms. Yes, guys, fruit of the loom is I'm just realizing, is that a fruit bearing loom? Like that's how you make garments, right? In a loom? Nicole, the bricks.
Oh God.
Is that something that's
it's
just
kind of
coming?
like, I'm assuming it's like fruits of your labor.
Yeah, but then the loom.
Yeah.
What about
Your
fruit of the
labor
Louvre? The Louvre
using
never
the
produces anything, Nicole. It just takes and takes art style.
Does it?
Yeah, I don't think...
Cool.
Are there art classes at the Louvre? Like, hey, guys, come here. No, there's lines out the door trying to see a bloated-ass corpse that is the Mother Lisa.
The Mother Lisa.
Yes, the Mother Lisa.
I mean, that's just art gallery.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But art galleries never also have classes and whatnot.
Yeah,
they never also have this. Moaning Lisa would be a better name for her because she's a ghost now. She goes, oh, look at me not
You don't know that for a fact?
Everyone's a ghost when they die, or are you saying she's immortal? X-Men style.
No, I'm just saying that not everyone is a ghost.
No, everyone when you die becomes a ghost. Where does that energy go? Into a ghost.
Wow.
Oh, do you think you go up to heaven or down to hell?
I mean, I hope not.
I hope we do.
You want that?
Yes, because I know I'm going to heaven, baby.
Yeah. Oh, no, because you wanted to be like a hell bounty hunter.
That, and also I'd be fine. Your pretty face is going to hell style. I'm just working customer support for hell, and I get to be in the graces of my Lord and Savior.
Sounds fucking terrible.
Satan. No, because then you get vacation time, you know?
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. Every place now. Oh, you better believe we're unionizing in hell.
If you're in hell?
Yes, the Satan is
Absolutely
bountiful,
not.
just like the fruit of a loom.
No.
And I'd be coming in, you know me, when I worked at that shit place, I was coming in and saying, hey, here's all the way we become more efficient. I'd be like, instead of just shoving pineapples in people, how about we just, I don't know, shove them off mountains? That's so much easier. And the fear of like, oh my God, I'm going to hit. We elongate that time. Yes.
But it's not
we
the same.
change gravity. You know, when maybe our
But the punishment is shorter.
No. We do this.
You can shove a pineapple up someone's ass and it stays in there forever.
Okay, then you want to know what it's a bunch of pineapple cannons. at the top of a mountain and they're bent over and maybe it just hits their taint. I think that would be worse, but maybe like we gape them real good. And then I'm sorry, guest, but our guest does our guest work in video production?
Our guest does not work in video production.
Okay, dang. I was hoping they'd be able to, in a TV or a movie when someone's sitting and then like drugs hit them or something suspenseful happens and all of a sudden it looks like a hallway gets longer. Yeah. We do that, but when they're dropping. So they're like, oh, I see where I can calculate. I know acceleration and gravity and all of that. My math brain says I got probably a minute and a half, but then it elongates and they're like, oh no, they're having a panic attack and maybe we lace the pineapples with LSD. I got vacation time, bitch.
Yeah. And you're only having a bad trip because you're in hell.
And it's literally a bad trip.
So, yeah.
Because what I haven't said is there's long ledges in front of them. So technically the pineapple hits them in the taint or whatever. And then they trip over a goddamn little ledge. And then they're having a literal bad trip. And Satan loves wordplay.
Goddamn little ledge.
Yeah. Can we introduce our guest, Nicole?
Are you serious?
Yes, what's up?
You're asking me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one going on a fucking long-ass rant.
It's not a rant. This is me.
About pineapples.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to be. My mom's always screaming at me, hey, you need to make sure a conservative ship or whatever for Nicole to be a part of my will or whatever. So she can say, hey, you want to know? We can just pull the plug. He didn't want this. How about we prep for death in the way of making sure, as if you're going to a job interview, hey, you want to shake up the company a little bit, come with ideas, Nicole.
Why do you want to shake it up? Usually, like, owners and bosses hate that.
No, I think owners and bosses like that. It's all other employees hate it.
Oh, wait, I'm a woman. Sorry.
Okay.
So if you did it, it'd be fine.
Oh, absolutely. Look at me.
Yeah.
Do I wish I were a woman? Hell yeah. So then
But you get the benefits of being a man.
Yeah. I'm literally mask passing because unfortunately I have no control over my genitals. So I have to be like, well, if I'm going to look at myself in the mirror, might as well have cum gutters.
Sorry, I was just thinking about like making a joke of you just like coming uncontrolled.
What?
Because you said you don't have control of your genitals.
Okay, yeah, that'd be pretty nice. I'm just like, oh no. Like whenever I hear a certain phrase, maybe I just go, ugh. What would that phrase least likely or least want to be? What, Nicole?
I was tangled.
You also keep hitting the door.
Yeah, I know, but you said to move against the door.
Well, maybe move so far back to the door. See how I am? I can't move. Our guest needs to be introduced.
Yeah, I know, bitch.
I have a written intro. I need to grab it.
I thought you had like a written insult you were going to say to me.
Oh, no. I say, there's your sign. That's the thing. Our guest this week is hot off a successful Kickstarter for the RPG zine Saved by the Morph, for which he designed. He also co-produces the Chicago chapter of the Mortified podcast and bears the Melzer guest stamp of approval. It's Eric Garneau.
Hello. The Melzer thing is really what my whole life has been working towards, so that's the greatest honor.
Hell yeah. How did you meet Melzer?
I was in a Chicago comedy group called the Nerdalogs, which is where I met Melzer. I used to host a smaller storytelling show that Melzer and Kyle and Drew would come perform at sometimes.
Hell yeah. And now you're on the Mortified stage.
Yeah, like of all of the many things that I do, that is by far the most popular and successful. And it's really the secret, which is no secret at all, is that WBEZ has taken the show under its wing. So they do all the marketing, all the promotion. And guess what? Public radio can fill a venue. It's pretty great.
Hell yeah. Nicole, we got to get on public radio.
Would we be allowed?
Yeah, the public needs to hear about, ideas to shake up the corporate structure of hell.
Yeah, and your uncontrollable genitals.
My uncontrollable jelly genitals.
Yeah.
I think this is a winning show, for like the 8 a.m. slot on BEZ for sure.
8 a.m. What day?
I'm going to say Tuesday.
Tuesdays. Dang. People waking up after a Monday saying, oh, Garfield was right. And then turn on us and they're like, oh, Garfield was wrong.
I can see it now. It's really a thing of beauty.
Because Garfield categorically hates cum jokes.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed all those comics. It sounds like him, though. I'm definitely not calling you out on that.
Well, when have you ever seen him make a cum joke?
Never, honestly.
Exactly.
And that's suspicious.
Yeah, he must hate them.
He must.
Unless Jim, I would love for someone to be like, hey, man, how come, Garfield never gets sexual? And then he's like, and he makes the same argument as why politics are never brought into Garfield of well, you want to know what? People don't want to hear about that stuff. Or you can just go to paheel.net and see Odie just ram normal.
But I think this is proof that people do want to hear about it. It feels like Jim Davis is slacking, frankly, and letting us all down.
Yeah, he's also losing out on buco dollars.
Yeah, someone else is going to make the XXX parody. He should do it himself.
Mm-hmm. Nicole, in a XXX parody of Garfield, who are you?
I
The casual
don't
observer.
Be here.
The vet milking Odie. All right. You are a game designer, correct?
Yes, certainly one of my, let's say semi-professional for now, yes.
Oh, hey, that Kickstarter was successful. That's professional.
You know what? And I've had 3 successful Kickstarters, so I'll wear that. Sure, thank you.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, you're looking at us.
One failed.
Yeah. One wanted to start, but never had the huevos.
Kickstarter is, it's tough. And, I tend to aim low, frankly, and that has helped me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're like,
smart.
Hey, it's already done. This is pretty much a pre-order. You want it? You got it.
Yeah, and just and I'm going, I feel like the opposite way that businesses are supposed to go. I'm having the goal each time instead of aiming higher. I'm just getting more and more niche. It's they say in Hollywood, you do one for them and one for you. Mm-hmm. Everything I do is one for me. I don't do anything for you.
Yeah.
It's all for me.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck them, right? This is for me. But please give me money, though.
I gotta figure out the, one for them. Because, oh boy, I'm trying. And people are like, we're not receptive. This is not for us.
It's tough. I'm planning a kind of a large commercial project in May, and that's scary because now it's I actually could fail. Mm-hmm. It's when you do a Saved by the Bell Power Rangers RPG zine and you want $500, it's this probably isn't going to fail. If 20 people want it, we're good to go. But when you're talking orders of magnitude 100 times that, it's I don't know if there's that many people who want what I've got. So we'll find out later, I guess.
Hell yeah. Give us a quick rundown of Saved by the Morph.
Yeah, absolutely. So Saved by the Morph is an idea that I had in my head forever, since the early 2000s at least, when I think the Fox affiliate where I was would show Saved by the Bell and Power Rangers back to back on Saturday mornings. And it's this is the same show. Mm-hmm. The plots are the same. The inciting incidents are the same. It's just that in one, the second half of the show, they defeat the monsters are literal, right? Instead of having angsty teenage problems, those problems congeal into a literal monster that then they literally beat up with giant robots, which is badass.
And that the robots are in Saved by the Bell, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
In Power Rangers, they're Zords, obviously. And Saved by the Bell. I think there is a robot. Yeah, Kevin, of course, in Saved by the Bell. Screech designs a robot, Kevin. Obviously. Anyway, so when Renegade Games put out the Power Rangers RPG last year, I was like, that's stupid. Who wants a Power Rangers RPG? And then I thought about, oh my God, but what if I ran it to where the players were playing Saved by the Bell, but then there was a monster? Mm-hmm. And I just fell in love with that idea. I ran it as a stream last year called Saved by the Zord. And then I was like, well, I want to turn this into something I can make money on. Zord is copyrighted by Hasbro. Morph is not, because you can't copyright a regular word, Hasbro. And also the Renegade Power Rangers system is not open source like D&D. So I also had to strip out all the stats and make it system agnostic. So what the book really is just kind of like a fun source book mashing up of two properties. So essentially it's a bunch of 2-page spreads that take a Saved by the Bell episode, kind of set it into a Sentai world where like the emotional problem of the episode is turned into a literal monster. My friend Brandon Kirkman, who is great, you guys should have him on the show, drew a bunch of really cool Sentai monsters, and then I like wrote a bunch of pun attacks and stuff for them. It's just goofy fun.
Well, speaking of game design, we want to help you make the next best tabletop RPG, tabletop anything. So, Nicole has something else. Would you like to start with yours, or would you like me to start with mine? I'll start with mine. I'm going to lob a few just generalized ideas your way, and I want you to come up with just like a quick, what kind of genre would it be, and what would we be doing in this board game?
Okay.
All right, these are things that have never been board games before.
Okay.
First up, David Cronenberg's Scanners.
Okay, can you refresh me on the plot a little bit? This is a 90s movie, right?
I think it's 70s, and
really,
pretty
Let me
much
look. I'll look.
People look at people because they got these minds that you can go like, oh, hey, I'm psychic, and then they can blow each other's heads up.
Okay, yeah, so I think you could adapt this from one of two pretty big sci-fi RPGs. So I think this could either be adapted from Cyberpunk or from Shadowrun. This sounds like a really cool RPG where every character would have as like a bonus power the ability to make someone's head explode. And I don't know how that would like alter game balance or play experience, but it sounds like a very fun one shot of just like if anyone crosses you, their head can explode. But I assume the twist is they can also make your head explode, right? So you have to be, you have to be judicious with the head explode.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a Don't Wake Daddy style game where you keep going around, and if you accidentally look at Daddy too many times, you get that his head could
Oh my
explode.
fucking God.
Yeah.
What would the apples be?
What are apples?
Or wait, no, I was
Are you thinking
thinking of something completely different.
Hi-Ho Cheerio?
Hi-Ho Cheerio.
Yeah, okay.
There's kind of this whole genre of like kids games where like something explode, like Pass the Potato even is that style of game where like if you're doing something for too long, the game component reacts poorly. So maybe it's like a sculpted head, and then if you anger it for too long, the top blows off or something. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that exists.
It may.
Yeah, it's called my dad on his last nerve of me.
Oh.
I got another one, though.
Wait,
What's up?
Scanners came out in 1981.
Okay.
Oh, split the difference. But you were closer.
Hell yeah. But it was also a Canadian movie, so
What's
they're
the next
practically
one?
ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil. I guess it depends on what side would you rather take. Do you want to be like the evil oil company, or do you want to be like environmentalists fighting them?
It needs to be licensed, so it's made by ExxonMobil.
Okay. Well, I don't think that they would license this, but I think they should. I think it should be a battleship style game, except instead of like launching, missiles and whatever, you're just spilling oil.
Ooh.
You're trying to coat the opponent's board in oil.
Dang, you're trying
Because that's what
to.
ExxonMobil does best, right?
Okay. And maybe there's like some little ducks that the opposing person is like, I got to clean up my ducks.
Yeah, exactly. You get points for making their ducks dirty.
Ooh.
No, that's the missiles. Is you're trying to get the ducks into the oil.
Okay, hell yeah. I'm fine with that. Let's move on to the next one. This is just, it can either be you specific, or it could just be a game called Your Hometown.
Your hometown.
Or it could be a game about your hometown.
Do you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna take this seriously for a second. I felt like I knew I was getting old when I went back to places where I grew up, and then would comment, "Oh, that used to be this. That used to be this." It's like, who cares? Like, things change. But I think there's actually something interesting in this idea of like a place that you saw as static changing while you're not there. So I don't know how you adapt that to a board game necessarily, but I think there's like a cool idea in that.
Oh, that's actually a really nice video game idea of kind of Silent Hill-y, where maybe it's a survival horror game and you're seeing your memories alter. Oh, man. That's actually kind of scary.
Because like the view you have of your town, it's rooted in when you grew up, and it's not that anymore. So like the game is predicated on you being able to tell like what's real and present from what you remember. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. Nicole, draw up some 3D models.
No.
Dang it. All right, my last one, and I believe this is the best one. Child alcoholism, pro or anti, your choice. Is this by Dare, or is this by like some kooky crazy person saying, hey, this is a cheeky idea?
Oh my gosh. This feels like a very sad game of Operation.
You're just replacing a kid's liver.
The board is small, the components are small, but the stakes couldn't be huger.
Hell yeah. Maybe their teeth might be a little rotted away because they don't have strong enamel.
I was going to say it's like, if it's Operation, then it's like the different things that they've swallowed.
Okay.
So it's like children just eat random shit. So it's like if they're drunk, they're just going to be uncontrollable.
Like my genitals.
Yeah.
Make that a board game. My uncontrollable genitals. And it's like a wiggle worm.
So I work in my day job. I'm a buyer for board games at a wholesale company in town. And this company that makes like adult novelty games really wants us to carry their stuff. So one day, kind of unannounced, they sent our receiving team just like a giant box of like basically sex toys and board games. And one of the receiving guys opened up and was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Why is someone sending us? And then, because I was like, there's no way we're going to carry them, they all just took this shit home for like their partners or themselves. It was kind of awesome.
Hell yeah. At least someone's getting use out of them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, those were all my ideas.
Great. So I took James's premise and tweaked it a little bit. I have 4 ideas.
I'm miming what Nicole is saying.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck.
You have 4 ideas.
Okay, I have 4 titles. I'll just list the 4 titles, and then you can pick what one you would make into a game for you and what one you would make into a game for them.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
See, James?
You came up with that on the fly.
It.
But that's improvising.
That's improvising. But it's comedy, so brace yourself. You got, based on the hit TV show, a game based off of MILF Manor.
In the zeitgeist.
Second choice, Dilfs on Deck, which is dads I'd like to fuck. Then you've got Galf Gondola.
Okay, is that grandmothers or grandfathers?
Great aunts I'd like to fuck.
I was hoping it might be gnomes.
Or, this one's a stretch, okay? Sylph Chateau.
Step something.
Spectral Elder I'd like to fuck.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's ghosts. We're going back to ghosts.
Yeah, that's the end of the list.
Okay, so which one's for me and which one's for them?
Yeah.
All right, I actually think there is probably a marketable game in MILF Manor, whether it's a dating sim or what, but I think that works, truly.
Yeah.
And it's in the zeitgeist. Maybe it hasn't penetrated to like, the top tier, but what is monoculture anymore anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
as far as what I would make for me, I mean, definitely what was your last acronym?
Spectral Elder I'd like to fuck.
That slots really nicely into the fantasy genre that I so often play in anyway. I mean, who's to say that because writing fantasy RPGs is really just embracing tropes, right? So like, who's to say that the wise old village elder isn't also like some horny hottie, and when like the young upstart poisons him or something to take over the village, maybe he retains his horniness in the afterlife. See, that's easily workable.
Yeah, guys, ghosts get horny too, okay?
Just like Mona Lisa.
Just like Mother Lisa.
Yeah, she'd be running around just dripping.
Ew!
Respect your spectral elder.
Arguably, ghosts get more horny because it's harder for them to, make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we know from the CBS hit show Ghosts that they can rub jennies.
Yeah. It's canon to real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People met ghosts and were like, hey, I'm going to write this show. What if that's how the show was written? Someone actually knows all these ghosts and is like, all right, let's write a sitcom. Oh! My iPod
They
fell.
were probably sworn to never share that secret, so we shouldn't really talk about it.
A spectral pinky swear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if all ghosts are hot? Like, what if you can control your spectral form, and so you just decide to be super hot when you die?
Oh, man, I'd look exactly like Nicole.
God damn it.
Nicole would see herself in the mirror and then, like, another herself in the mirror behind her.
That.
And I'd go, hey, Nicole,
That's
it's me.
fucking
I
terrifying.
still have the same voice.
I like the assumption that you just die first. Like, that's not even a debate.
Of course. I think that I've come to start realizing that when I think of my parents passing away, I don't feel sad about it. But that's because this is about to get depressing, guys. Throughout my entire life from like 12 years old, I've always been under the assumption that they will outlive me.
Interesting.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like I'm always thinking of how they will react when I die by mine own hands. And like that's them feeling sad. I'm never going to have to feel sad except, every day of my goddamn existence.
Hell yeah.
But speaking of goddamning things, let's get into Bibleman. Yeah, Eric, have you ever heard of or seen Bibleman before today?
No, and I saw that you have talked about Bibleman on your show before, so I'm sure some of my thoughts you have covered already, but I am really excited to talk about this with you. What a ride.
Hell yeah. And what about religion? You into it? You're not? Indifferent?
I grew up in a very conservative Catholic house. I went to Catholic high school. So to answer your question, no, I'm not religious in the least.
Everyone who comes on our show that has that experience are like,
they're godless heathen.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I wouldn't go so far as to say like a militant atheist. Like I do think there's, if religion works for you, I'm okay with that to a point, but I've stopped being okay with it when it becomes something through which you legislate how other people should live.
Mind your own goddamn P's and Q's.
That's right. But hey, Bibleman, though, now this is high art. I'm going to say honestly, because in revisiting Power Rangers for Saved by the Morph, I watched a bunch of episodes across a bunch of seasons. And as I'm sure you often talk about, it's definitely watches better in our nostalgia than in the current day. Watching Bibleman made me long for Power Rangers. Especially because the episode we watched came out in 95, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, parallel to Power Rangers Zeo, which in my opinion, which I don't know if this is a hot take, is like the apex of Power Rangers, because it's kind of where like character development meets serialized storytelling meets Sentai action. I think that it gets the best of all three. Imagining a child being forced to watch Bibleman instead of Zeo made me so sad. And then I was sad that I wasn't watching Power Rangers Zeo.
Well, we'll be honest with you. If we had to choose between Power Rangers Zeo or any Power Rangers minus Ninja Steel and Bibleman, we're probably going to choose Bibleman. Yeah.
Wait, so Ninja Steel is your exception. Now, I've not seen any Ninja Steel, but I understand that fans largely consider that the worst season of Power Rangers.
No, we truly, earnestly love it. We don't know. We earnestly love it because it truly is, one, throw anything at the board and we'll throw it in the show. And it's all earnest. It's little sweet, soft-spoken boys and women just being friends. And they're like, yeah, we're going to take down the bad guy. You better believe it. One of the Bulk and Skull types, one of them have guested on our show because we love them so much. And we're like, please be on our show. And they're like, yeah, we think you're funny. We've been waiting for you to ask.
No way. That's cool. I mean, I should watch it. Yeah, I kind of skipped all of I think the most recent show I watched, other than the current one, was Dino Thunder, which is like, everyone says it's MMPR version 2. It was fun. But yeah, I haven't seen Ninja Steel. I'll take that recommendation under account. Thank you.
It's stupid. We'll say that off the bat.
Yeah, like we like it just because like it's fun and it's dumb.
Yeah. There's an episode where this person in high school, he loves cars and he fixes a car, and then someone pulls up in a tow truck and he's like, oh, hey, I'm here to fix a car. And the woman's like, oh, no, you already did it. And he's like, you did that quick, kid? Oh, man, I'd love to give you a job. And then he comes back. He's a Power Ranger. And he says, hey, guys, I got to leave the Rangers. Also, I'm dropping out of high school because I got my dream job. And it's insane. Like, you can still keep the Power Rangers thing. Fine, drop out, whatever. But it's truly baffling at points, but so good.
That's wild. I mean, yeah, I think the shows really need to embrace being, being kind of zany and just, overly earnest and ridiculous, because the concept is so ridiculous. I'm really worried that this like reboot in 2024 or whatever is going to be very serious. Another kind of hot take, I think I like the 2017 movie. I feel like if you're going to try to go serious, doing it like Breakfast Club is probably as good as you could ask for.
I believe most of the Power Rangers fans, like people who have been with it since the beginning or have consumed all the media, they loved that movie. The fandom did. But the casual people who's like, oh, I remember Power Rangers Mighty Morphin as a child. That's all I ever watched. They're like, oh, it's not Mighty Morphin, so I don't like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But anyway, sorry, digression aside, you genuinely, you would rather watch Bibleman than 90s Power Rangers.
Yeah, for the most part. The first Bibleman before the last Willie Ames episodes, those ones are just a romp and a half. It like... Maybe the Time Force, which I watch, hey, upcoming episode of Into the Grid, I'm guesting in a few weeks. Those were like, wow, this is prime trash to just get high and watch. But Bibleman, I think, would also be a fantastic get high and watch show.
It was really entertaining. And again, apologies if I'm saying things that past guests have said. So the first thing I thought was like, surely this is one episode. This didn't last beyond one episode. No, it went for like 15 years and then a sequel series. Yeah. That's wild. Second thing is, I mean, I think you have to take as a given that the writing is awful and the acting is largely awful. Although the guy who plays Bibleman apparently quite a storied career. I actually thought the directing was good. Like, genuinely, I thought the director really brought his game. There were shots in there, like even in the main title sequence, right, where the guy is in despair and he finds the Bible in the mud, and it's like you see it's like cross-cutting two angles of him together. It looked like something out of David Lynch, honestly, where he's like screaming and you have two angles of him screaming imposed on top of each other. I was like, this is actually cool. Like, the director brought it.
I think Willie Ames might have, maybe he didn't direct back then, but Willie Ames, the person who plays Bibleman in the first half of the run, he wrote and I know produced this episode. I don't know if he directed, but he will eventually go on to be a triple threat, or actually quadruple threat, writer, or actually quint threat, writer, director, producer, star, and pastor.
Ooh.
Spitter of the holy word.
Wow. Okay. Wild. Yeah. I mean, there was so many parts where I laughed because I guess talking about like Ninja Storm or Ninja Steel.
Steel.
Ninja Steel and how earnest it is. This is so hyper earnest. And I think Christian entertainment needs to be earnest, or else, because you don't want it to be cynical, right? You don't want it to like be a step too clever, because then you feel like it's not Christian. It's just trying to play the Christianity for like marketing points. I got no sense of that from this. This is like so painful. Like, the stakes couldn't be lower.
We'll say in a few episodes, he starts getting like meta contextual with jokes and mainly breaking the fourth wall in film production, never Christianity. I mean, he breaks the fourth wall to like just spit Bible quotes at you in later episodes, but he starts getting like true jokes will be written on paper and then said on screen. So I think this is in the upper echelon of Christian children's entertainment.
Interesting. So yeah, there's not a lot, because I saw conflicting reports. This is either the first episode or the first episode of season 2. I don't know like what the real production order is, but yeah, I mean, you could tell it was early. It was kind of like a very like basic plot. I wouldn't expect a meta twist to it, but you could tell there were attempts at jokes. Like one scene that did make me laugh, even though the kids are all terrible, but the one who's like, oh yeah, she's got a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's got a good point.
Mm-hmm.
No, this guy's got a good. It's funny.
It would have been funny if Fibbler came in and was like, I think you all suck. And then the kid goes, he's got a good point.
Yeah, yes.
That would have been a later Bibleman episode. Those are the kind of jokes they would end up doing.
Okay, that's funny. Fibbler. Okay, can we talk about Fibbler?
Let's get a note by note and we'll do a breakdown of the entire thing. Is that good?
Oh, of course.
Hell yeah. All right. Real quick, I should say, we are discussing Bibleman, the 6 Lies of the Fibbler, which is the 3rd overall episode of Bibleman, which the first 2 we have not watched. Nicole was like, what? We haven't done the first one. And I was like, all right, fine, here it is. And then Nicole's like, oh no, we should not be doing this. I'm like, okay, yeah, I produced this show well. I specifically chose not to do that. The first one sucks. It's not good. There's no crime fighting whatsoever in it. So that's why we're going back to this one, because I skipped over these few when Bibleman's costume is really just slight cardboard and a little bit of plastic.
Oh, so the tech gets better too, like the production value.
He ends up getting this chrome one that looks absolutely not flattering.
Okay.
So quick rundown of this. There's this dude, he's a demon, and he makes a young woman's fib, and it destroys their, I don't know, Christian choir group. And then, but no, you want to know what? They're more like a glee club with original songs. Yeah. Maybe they're hymns. I don't know. Oh, you want to know what? A glee club, but with hymns? Hell yeah. And then Bibleman destroys the demon, but also teaches this girl humility or something. I don't know. Bibleman. So let's get into it. Starts out, we're in the Bible cave, and Nicole pointed out, said the most expensive thing here is the aquarium.
Yeah.
The Bible aquarium.
It's a very strange establishing shot, because I thought the dude was the villain for a while. It's played like very like kind of creepy, like kind of setting up the Bible cave, and then there's no context to why we're getting that scene except to see the helmet at the end, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think, Nicole, those fish Bibleman turned from nothing like Jesus did?
The fish?
Yeah, doesn't he make fish out of nothing to give people?
No.
That's why his little logo's a fish?
I don't fucking know, dude.
You go on to your next note. I need do you know why you went to school for this?
Yes. Yeah, the fish symbolism, I believe it does stem from the miracle where Jesus fed 40 people with like 1 loaf of bread and 1 fish.
Hell yeah, he kept springing them about.
Yeah.
Do you think he started with 1 fish and then all of a sudden there's a bunch?
Well, I think it would be blasphemous for Bibleman to steal Jesus's powers. I think he just borrows them when demon monsters threaten.
What if there was a demon fish in there and you're like, hey, we need more of these fish?
Plausible.
Or, guys,
what?
The demon that is bad feng shui, and he's like, hey, I need more fish to even out the karma values here.
I mean, he probably bought them, but I can't really place what his job is. I guess he's independently wealthy, so, he can have fish.
Oh, see, I have a note about this. Originally, we see him like, oh, he had so much money, and then he's screaming because he found out that in the theme song, and he's in the mud screaming, oh, my life is not fulfilling. But I think now he's a teacher?
Yeah, it does kind of imply he teaches at the school, or else he shouldn't probably be with those kids later on.
Yeah.
Or he's like sometimes at my high school, that was a public high school, a pastor would just show up during lunch times to like teach us Bibles. I didn't like it. I was forced to go by Mr. Cole, our science teacher.
It was like a club, though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like for anyone. It was like for people who willingly joined this club.
Or being forced by your science teacher.
Oh, my God.
He's saying, I'll DDT you if you don't go.
Oh,
or maybe he got rich being a teacher. It's like a Christian fantasy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the credits too, because it's like he had everything: wealth, status, popularity, or power. Like those are basically the three of the same thing. Like he was well off, is what you're saying.
They should have said, hey, and then he got the pussy. And then you're like, wait, is this Scarface?
Yes. That's what I was waiting for, was for the narrator to say how much sex he used to have.
He's just dripping in that drip.
His briefcase is just full of drugs.
Oh, hell yeah. And sometimes he would flirt with the idea of kissing a man.
Just the idea of it.
He'd be like, okay, maybe. I'll go on a devil's three-way. Oh my God, that's why it's called a devil's three-way.
Whoa.
Because all of a sudden you're flirting with the idea of possibly kissing a man.
Gasp.
I just wanted to like say an overall thing that going back to like the older episodes today, I prefer this.
Yeah, me too.
Like it has like more of a focus on like the kids and their friendships and their interactions and shit. And I feel like later on there's just like way too many fucking characters.
Yeah. Like, so there's in future episodes someone, or not, something in AI called Unice or Eunice. And it's a computer program that's kind of like, what's a superhero equivalent to this?
It reminds
like Jarvis?
No,
Yeah, Jarvis.
It reminds me of Computer Wife from SpongeBob.
That too, yes. And there's nothing of that. He does not have a computer talking to him. He's literally sitting down in his Bible cave. Bible cave is still the same. However, it has like a office area that a dad would have in 1995.
A daddy.
And he just sits down and he's clicking through his rogues gallery trying to find these demons.
Yeah.
Which, real quick, that now that we're on the subject, we wrote all of these down. These demons, which, God, I wish we would see these. You have Left Foot Louie, the Smiler in quotations. None of these other ones are in quotations. Unlucky Lucy, Timid Tessie, Iron Brains 2, meaning there's two of them, and the Fibbler, which he then says, oh, you're a nasty character. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Points at the sky.
It was really like the Batman trick of like analyzing a piece of data, except he was just using his eyeballs to spot something he recognized.
Yeah.
We get from the intro, the theme song, it goes into a song with all these kids singing. It's where our intro came from, you gotta get Bible vision. And they say like, hey, we made this choice to follow God. And it's like, no, you didn't. Your great-grandparents made this choice for your grandparents, who made this choice for your parents, who made this choice for you.
Yeah, stupid kids.
Like, if a child is up to their own devices, they're like, yeah, I'm going to follow Iron Man. That's my God. And why wouldn't he be?
What was your brother's thing?
When he was a teenager?
You know what I'm talking about.
My brother, when he was in a 12-step program, he's like, well, I don't believe in like this God that like any religion. So he made up his own, which was this robot. I forget its name. It was a robot that had a TV for a head, looking very much like an EDM DJ. And it was a DJ that hosted a party that was a forever dance floor with a light up floor. And you would just dance for all eternity to the best music around.
I love it.
I mean, that's kind of rad.
Yeah, my brother's one rad man.
So basically a living example that kids wouldn't be at this church doing this if left to their own devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddha spoke more to me, and that's mainly because I watched an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Production value in this opening number is amazing, as Eric was mentioning that like the director was doing his job. Oh, baby, that crane shots and whatnot, it looked great.
It was fine.
Nicole, it reminds me a lot of, I believe his name is Fred Orlean Ray. He's a very high-profile, low-budget film director. Did things like we've talked about on the show before, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, A Talking Cat, and when in the mid-90s during this time, was doing Invisible Mom 1, and Invisible Dad. Invisible Dad slaps. But the vibes of those movies are really what we're seeing here on display. It's like, oh my God, I'm getting this nostalgia that I would get from a movie I watched last year.
I was just focused on the fact that they're rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
I was focused on the fact that their stage was 2 feet wide. So the choreography could really only be them standing and doing movements.
I thought it was kind of neat how every child was framed by the house architecture.
Mm-hmm.
They each had their own quadrant. And I agree with James. I really like the direction in the sequence too. Again, I thought the cross-cutting between the girl on her bike and the performance was actually really quite well done. The angle that they filmed the girl from, I don't know. It really conveyed I don't know. It felt good, right? It conveyed her hurriedness to get there and
mm-hmm.
her kind of anxiety and not being there on time. I thought this was a good sequence. Song is obviously terrible, and the fact that they have background music with no speakers or anything makes zero sense. But that's the power of Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nicole, the angles were like Dutch angles that maybe a Brian De Palma would use on Raising Cain.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice to have them be Dutch angles, I felt like.
Mm-hmm. The house looked fantastic. I would have loved living at that house, would have had a ball.
Yeah.
It's giant as hell.
Sure.
Clearly was just someone in the production's house.
It might have been Willie Ames's.
Yeah.
So then we're introduced to the Fibbler, who I watched these at 3 times speed initially, and with heavy blue blocking capabilities on both the screen and my eyeballs. So when we watched it without any of that, I'm like, wow, I thought his hair was normal color and his face was just painted white. No, he's a banana with green hair.
I thought he was
Very
supposed to be
Cesar Romero.
a parrot.
Could be.
Cesar Romero, what does that mean?
Cesar Romero played the Joker in the 1960s Batman show.
Got it.
IMDb does, or maybe the Bibleman Wikia says, because I go there, says, oh, this is a knockoff of the Joker.
I mean, Fibbler is a straight up Batman villain name.
Yeah.
But again, there's 2 things in play that are opposites, but I enjoyed them both. I love that the show doesn't mince any fact about the fact that Fibbler comes from hell.
Yeah.
And that his boss is Satan.
Uh-huh.
But also how tiny the stakes are. Fibbler is a demon from hell, and he is making one girl lie to her friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Christians either converting friends and family, the biggest fear is just one person, leaving the faith and straying from the pack. That is their soul being damned forever, and that's one for Satan and a tear for Jesus.
That's true. And I think if you really, which maybe you do, want to find a metaphysical kind of narrative behind this show, I bet you that Fibbler is like an endless from Sandman, where he can incarnate anywhere he needs to be. So that's not like there's infinite Fibblers, and everyone can have their own Fibbler, and that's just that girl's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of, we can actually say he's doing a very terrible job, and he needs to take an Improv 202 class, because this fucker is so slow on the draw. He's like, let me do a rhyme and maybe I can buy time. Well, because in real life, if you were to ask your friend a question and say hey, where were you all day? You were late for the 3rd time. And the time is this. I'm going to look right now. Hey, oh, okay. Think quick, Mr. Fibbler. What is going to happen is I can't think of a rhyme with a fiddler that is not an inappropriate one. Oh, okay. How about say this? I was helping my mother. That's like if your friend was dead-eyed at you for 25 seconds, you'd be like, ma'am, what are you? Okay, maybe something is wrong.
I love the way that the actor played Fibbler. He was chewing the scenery so much. It felt like really someone who was bringing out their inner, I don't know, a little bit Jim Carrey, a little bit Robin Williams, just like letting it fly. And it was really entertaining.
There is a future episode, one actor plays Jim Carrey's Riddler throughout the entire episode. And it's like, oh my God, how was this not copyright infringement?
Wow. I guess the actors who play the villains can be a little spicy in this show, right?
And then, hey, Bibleman shows up out of nowhere, poof of light, and he's like, oh, something must be up. And he looks behind him, and then the Fibbler's like, oh, I should have said Riddler. I could have said so many things. All I could think of was Diddler. And I'm like, damn it. Okay. But Bibleman says, hey, guys, as some Bible verse says, you are the light and you need to let it shine. But Batman is the darkness and the night. So you want to know what? What side do you really want to be on? Be cool like Batman or just some ray of hope? And then this kid, Adam, we'll give a quick rundown. There's Callie, Ricky, Ashley, Ryan, and then some other girl. He's like, hey, Ashley, can you help me with the music? And I thought when I first watched this, like, can you help me write the music? Like, you do half the songs, I'll do the other half. But no, he just hands a cassette. He's like, it's so heavy. Why?
So I was thrown by this too. At first, I thought what was happening was that the person who wrote the script didn't know anything about music and that he was somehow handing her a tape with half of their backing tracks. So it's like, you know, dude has bass and drums and then she has like guitars or whatever. But I guess they had two songs. And so it was one of the songs. But why were they like singles? Like you could only fit 3 minutes per tape?
I don't know.
Why were you doing that?
Maybe it's to prevent wear and tear on just one magnetic strip.
I did feel like his asking her was more of like, he felt bad for kind of getting on her for being late. So he was like, hey, we're a team, so maybe you can help me out. But he really played it up. This like huge burden of me carrying 2 tapes.
Insane.
But see, I'm more cynical, so I saw it as him like setting her up to fail. As like more malicious.
Interesting.
A psychological DDT, if you will.
I could buy that.
But then we flash to their rehearsal, or their recital, I should say, and they're singing the We Are the Fruit of God's Love. And there is a kid, I think it's a Ricky, who is just, he's full of the spirit because he is going off on this solo and he's like, yeah!
And they're dancing. Well, and it's so clearly not even ADR, just like a track played over a silent stage. So the fact that they had to do that choreography with no music playing is wild.
I liked it. It was like a music video, but, you know, impacted me with the light of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I don't get that when I'm watching Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz.
James, did you know that God will show you how to live forever?
He will?
Yeah. These children said so.
I'm down with that.
Kids don't lie.
They don't. As we learned from this episode.
It's a demon lying for the child and blowing just, I don't know, asbestos in their face.
Yeah.
Why is his nose drippy?
I thought it was like Pinocchio.
Oh, good catch.
But I saw it as I just couldn't not see a bird.
Also, the Fibbler doesn't... He's making this child like the Goldbergs act in current day Goldbergs of when she's like, oh, well, it was actually your responsibility. And he's like, no, we had a conversation of just kind of being a low level shit. And that's it.
Yeah. A shit ass.
Yeah.
I thought that scene was kind of wild too, because like the story just assumes that we will assume that there was no way this little girl was going to remember the tape. Like, they don't address the fact that she doesn't bring it. It's just taken as a given that she doesn't. Like, oh, this girl's so bad and irresponsible that she won't do this one thing right, obviously.
Also, how this scene shot with the fibbler high up in the corner of the ceiling, that was terrifying.
Yes.
The rules as to who can and can't see him was actually kind of neat. I like that the show didn't bother to explain it, that they just let you figure it out.
I think because kind of like a clairvoyant or a medium can see ghosts, only Bibleman can see these demons.
Yeah.
Or kind of like in Brimstone, you know that Fox show that was canceled unjustly in the 90s?
Nope.
That was so good. Or kind of like in They Live, how you need those glasses to see aliens.
Never seen it.
Neither have I. That wasn't They Live. That wasn't. No, yeah, that's They Live.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Me either.
I always thought it was They Live.
Ooh.
Saturday Night Live. Is that something?
I always thought it was They Levy or They Leve. Then Bibleman sees this demon and then is holding a child and kind of just like tosses it to a holy father.
Yeah.
And then my next note is she quit the group and now she's crying at the swing set. And Nicole said a very funny thing.
Did I?
Yeah, you were like, man, this is what childhood was like. Or maybe I was just really depressed.
Aww.
Well, no, because it was like, okay, because I wrote pop ballad depression montage. Because it was like a ballad. And I was like, wow, this is so fucking dramatic. But then I was like, that's kind of how shit feels when you're a kid. But then I was like, wait, maybe that's just me.
Could be.
No, I think that's right. Teenage emotions are always so heightened. And that's why I like the over earnestness of that's where Saved by the Morph comes from. And yeah, same here.
Yeah, the song that's playing over it is There's Still Hope for Me. And when I was watching this at 3 times speed, I thought it was saying there's no hope for me. I was like, oh, geez.
Okay.
Wow.
And then Bibleman shows up and says like, hey, you sound a lot like Paul the Apostle. And it says like, oh, here's a quick translation of, I know what is right, but I do what is wrong, and I do what I hate. Oh, sounds like my ex-wife.
Because she hated you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does make sense because my ex-wife was Paul the Apostle.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's pretty good, man. It's a good get, honestly.
I'm kind of a star fucker.
I just watched History of the World Part 2 where I think Richard Kind played Paul, and it was very funny.
Hell
so now I'm
yeah.
picturing you with Richard Kind.
Oh,
Yes.
please.
I was going to say you should be part of CL, Spectral Elder. I'd like to fuck.
Uh-huh, that's Paul the Apostle for you. And the Holy Spirit, too. Every little spectral baby is trying to get with that spectral elder that is Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. And then we're Flash, like they make up and they're all good. They sing a song, but then Bibleman sees the fibbler back at the church. The fight scene in front of the church is awesome. Just the setting and everything.
I want to real quick talk about the forgiveness scene because this reminded me of something my favorite philosophy professor said, which is, and he said this in his very judgmental way. He goes, if Catholicism has one good thing to offer the world, and that's a big if. It's the idea of forgiveness. And his point basically being that forgiveness is good because otherwise you hold under resentment. And so actually even being the dirty atheist that I am, I did ultimately like the moral of this episode minus the God stuff. I like that Ashley was just able to go back to her friends and they were like, yeah, it's cool. We understand. I think that's really nice and wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to resolve the conflict.
And then they find out she's actually been spilling oil with X on, and they're like, we'll still forgive you. And it's like, no. You don't need to forgive them for that. Or, hey, you want to forgive, but don't forget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she may have grown up to be an oil executive. We'll never know.
Fingers crossed. We need more of those.
Or she just, in her pastime, just really loves putting ducks in oil spills.
That could be too. She goes down to the local pond with a thing of like a can of oil, and she's like splashing it around.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, when they show in TV and sitcoms someone getting into art for the first time and they're like, I love this. And they're just splashing art on a canvas. The canvas is the water.
Yeah.
And the ducks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mainly the ducks.
Mainly, yeah. The water is more the medium through which her art thrives.
She drags a kiddie pool down to the pond, fills it up with multiple cans of oil, and then just takes a duck by the neck and shoves it underneath.
But she doesn't lie about it, and that's the important thing.
Or she just like dunks it like a cookie.
And she confesses, so she gets forgiven.
Uh-huh. She says,
Yeah.
Father, forgive me, for I have dunked.
And then a radical guitar lick plays.
Okay, I just have a few more notes. During the final fight, I love the Fibbler says, I'm more than willing to fight you and your scripture.
Are we supposed to, and this may be part of the lore of the show that I'm ignorant of, are we supposed to take that Bibleman gets power when he quotes the scripture? Like literal power?
I think they get weaker.
Okay, sure.
Because if you think of exorcism movies, when you start quoting the Bible to someone who is possessed, the demon starts to cower away. I think that's the same. So maybe this dude also loves The Exorcist. Willie Ames was in film, so he probably is like, oh yeah, the greatest horror movie ever created, The Exorcist? Hell yeah.
I like, too, that Willie's delivery of those lines is very sassy. It's not like a preacher. It's like pointed. It's very daggery.
That's why he rocks, and then the future, like the second Bible man that we get, he sucks because he was a for real pastor that just became an actor.
Damn.
And only ever did Bible man.
That's not as good.
The last thing we see of Bible Man, he's hanging up and securing his Bible suit, and he stops, he looks up into the sky and says, thank you for allowing me to be a willing vessel, Lord. I love you.
Very cute.
Yeah, he's so sweet and sincere in this.
Yeah.
The final dance gives me Megan vibes, so I think the child who did the Megan dance probably grew up on Bible Man.
I subtract the lyrics. I kind of like that last song. It was kind of like a Paula Abdul style jam.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And we find out we're all part of God's family, and in that family, I'm the little stinker. What are you in God's family?
What am I in God's family? I'm like the weird, like, third cousin who shows up sometimes for big family dinners and eats, but doesn't really talk to people or, like, make any effort to see people outside of big gatherings.
Nicole?
What?
In God's family, what are you?
I'm the dog that everyone blames farts on.
Oh, dang. You want to know what? I'm the little baby, actually. Wah.
Baby.
What?
Which then Virgin Mary says, you can suckle upon my teety.
Mother Lisa is there.
No.
Yeah, Mother Lisa's there.
Yeah.
Sacrilegious. Here's my big thing about this episode, okay? What's the title of the episode?
What are the 6 lies of Fibbler? Is that what you're asking?
He lies like maybe 3 times, but really like 2 successfully. Why do they name it something so specific and then not cash that check?
Maybe it's a reference to an actual Bible thing, like the 6 lies of someone.
Oh, probably. And it absolutely sounds like a Silver Age Batman story, you know? Like, the clown strikes at midnight or something.
Yeah.
But he doesn't lie 6 times. Come on, man.
What if there is like the 6 riddles of the Riddler? And that's what it's based on.
Probably so, right? Now, do you think, how would Bible Man fare in Gotham City is the question, right? Like, could his Bible verses bring down some of Batman's rogues?
Yeah, because a lot of them seem very weak-minded, and especially all of the henchmen are coming over to Bible Man. They're like, oh my God, we finally found true purpose that doesn't involve possibly being gassed by something that only Batman has the antidote for. He's like, hey, I have the antidote for all toxins, the Holy Spirit.
I mean, I was going to say it's that thing that they say in Batman in that one movie when it's like, die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. And I think Bibleman would turn into a villain.
Oh, he'd just become a cult leader.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, I need Bibleman in the DCU.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cool idea of like someone who's righteous. I mean, honestly, right, that's kind of Azrael, isn't it? But Azrael's not ever pure. That's the difference. Bibleman would be a pure version of that.
Yeah.
Like chaste and clean, but something about Gotham makes him a cult leader, a fanatic.
Man.
Yeah, man.
We need this. Freaking
Yes.
James Gunn, do it up. We know you like Bible, man, because it was a big thing in your super movie.
Yes, I read about that. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, though, there is a modern version of Bibleman that's a cartoon. Have you seen that at all?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We like the charm that we get from these wild sets and just insane direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, that's Bibleman. Any more notes from you guys?
No.
I mean, I had a great time watching it. I thought it was horrible, but really, really fun. And apparently it gets quite good because, yeah, this is probably the first video some kids saw of it. I was like, how does this ever last longer? It feels like a passion project filmed, probably at the, Willie's house.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't know. It certainly was charming.
Yeah.
I still would rather watch Power Rangers Zeo, but...
Well, speaking of Power Rangers and maybe things you're up to, what you got to plug?
Yeah, I mean, I will plug Saved by the Morph, which is, as we know, a system-agnostic TTRPG handbook that uses Saved by the Bell plots to inspire Super Sentai action. That Kickstarter campaign is wrapped, but if anyone out there would like it, they can go to savedbythemorph.com. PDFs are $8, and printed books are $15. That'll ship in, I believe, June or July. I have a Substack where I write about all sorts of pop culture stuff, mostly narrative and games, ericgarneau.substack.com. And the next Mortified Chicago show is May 4th at the Music Box. It is May the 4th, a Star Wars themed show. We have Star Wars fan fiction, Star Wars fan films. We have a letter that I wrote to the Chicago Tribune defending Phantom Menace from its horrible review when I was 15.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be really fun. And hopefully we'll be able to announce by then. The Music Box is, I believe, doing a free screening of a Star Wars film after the show as well, which is fucking cool to see a Star Wars movie on that screen. So anyway, that's my plugs.
Hell yeah. Nicole, what you got to plug?
As always, follow Darling Homebody on your various social medias. I've been getting weird. I at least I think I have been. I don't know. Social media is churning out all the different versions and I'm struggling to keep up. And so I'm just like, I don't know. And I throw a thing out there. Visit darlinghomebody.com for all the stuff that I make. I've been ordering a lot of stickers lately, so check those out and join the Darling Homebody Society.
Hell yeah. Hey guys, head over to MLMpod.com to find out information about my other podcasts such as Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, The Height of Horror, Hit It and Crit It, and Formulaic, which Formulaic next week, Nicole joined us as well as Corwin, Sean Marciniak, and so many others to read the script we wrote within an hour of Yogi's Gang, and Nicole plays the titular character Yogi Bear. It's so good, so check that out.
Or don't.
No, please do, guys. And check out all the other episodes. Check out our Power Rangers episode that we wrote and then did a table read of it. It turned out truly insane how well of a Power Rangers episode we wrote in an hour.
You might call it more phenomenal.
Uh-huh. I wouldn't. When people say that, I'm like, just When we actually bring that up, I think on the episode, I'm like, it does not roll off the tongue at all.
Yeah.
So check out all of that. Listen to my music under Marshland Monster. Howard Kramer, aka Dragon Boy Suede, and I have another song coming out on March 24th, I believe. It's a Friday called Odwalla. It's good. Check it out. And then also have Crazy 8 the Snap Case, or Crazy 8 the Snape Case, if you're a listener of the show, which I think you are. We have an EP coming out. He produced all the beats. He remixed all my 3 of my old songs. It's really good. That's coming out on April 7th and more to come. So follow me on Spotify and then head over to patreon.com/MLM where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. This month, all of March, it's Just This Existed every single Friday where I'm showing Lil Corey the world of trauma entertainment. It's a really good time. This week, I believe, is our Monster in the Closet episode. And ooh boy, that was a great episode. Go check it out. And $10 patrons get monthly exclusive content on top of that weekly. And this week or this month, we are doing straight to Patreon, another trauma movie called The Evolved Part 1. It's baffling. It's going to be fun. And then you also get your names right on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Alex Z, The Waz, Steve F, Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Orion, he's a rapper, Defo, D-F-O, Jordan B, The Chaos Witch, My Bickle, Brother in Common Law, Joshua, Jakis, Steve Barnes of Sweet Child of Time, My Mother, Lil Corey's BFF and roommate Shane, That Fed, and the aforementioned twitch.tv/Corwinning. It's Corwin. Eric, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you for having me. This was a delight. I may put on another Bibleman someday. We'll see.
Hell yeah. I've been James.
I'm Nicole.
Oh, I'm Eric. I thought I was done.
And we've been mostly Babblin' Bibleman. Bye-bye.
B.
This has been a Marshland Media production, produced by James McCollum. For more content, please visit MLMpod.com. To support our network and have access to exclusive podcasts, head over to patreon.com/MLMpod and sign up today. Oh, one last thing. How do you pronounce your last name?
Garneau.
Garneau.
Yes.
Just 2 syllables. Awesome. Garneau.
Yes.
Garneau.
Every teacher ever got it wrong, so don't feel bad.
Oh, the teacher should have just said, hey, how you pronounce this? And you'd say Garneau. And they'd be like,
yeah, but
ooh.
they don't want to show weakness to grade schoolers.
Oh, if I were a substitute teacher, I'd never be a real teacher. I'm not that cool. I would be showing weakness nonstop, because then the kids who are like, oh, you are tough, you're dominating, that means you are a hurdle to go over, and they'll try and beat me up. But if they're like, oh, this weak ass simp over here, not worth our time.
That's right. I mean, in that sense, weakness is really strength. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Because it's like Diablo 2. You're level 89. Are you really going to go back and beat up people on Act 1 in normal mode? No, that'd be pointless. I don't know if you are familiar with Diablo 2.
Not super, but I understand the principle of what you're saying.
Yeah, the context.
Oh, yeah. Fruit of God's love. Okay, I need to remember that for after the cold open.
Did you know that
What?
that it's actually a vegetable?
Yeah. That's really good, Nicole. Yeah. Alrighty.